life would have progressed if my parents had seen odd behavior differently and taken me to some pediatric specialist. Almost certainly, I wouldn't be the liter autis who's writing these words for whoever might still be able to comprehend them, nor the one who was lucky enough to meet Rob home all those years ago in the teenage fug of those student halls back at Leeds University. 2. So, Rob. First thing to say is the obvious fact that most of us fancied him. It wasn't just the grey eyes or the courtly elegance or that soft Scottish accent, or even the way he somehow appeared mature and accomplished. It was, essentially, a kind of mystery. But he wasn't remotely standoffish. He went along with the fancy dress pub crawls, he drank, he fucked about, he took the odd tab. One of my earliest memories of Rob was finding him at some club, cool as you like amid all the noise, flash and flesh, and dragging him out onto the pulsing dance floor. One minute we were hovering above the skyscrapers of Beijing, and the next a shipwrecked storm was billowing about us. Rob, though, was simply there, taking it all in, laughing, responding, but somehow detached. Then helping me down and out, past clanging temple bells and through prismatic sandstorms, to the entirely non-virtual hell of the toilets, his cool hands holding back my hair as I vomited. I never actually thanked Rob for this. I was too embarrassed. But the incident somehow made us more aware of each other. That, and maybe we shared a sense of otherness. He, after all, was studying astrophysics, and none of the rest of us even knew what that was, and had all that strange stuff going on across the walls of his room. Not flashing posters of the latest virtual boy band or porn empress, but slow-turning gas clouds, strange planets, distant stars and galaxies. That and long runs of mech, whole arching rainbows of the stuff, endlessly twisting and turning. My room, on the other hand, was piled with the precious torn and foxed paperbacks I'd scoured from junk sites during my teenage years. Not, of course, that they were actually needed. Even if you were studying something as arcane as narrative fiction, you were still expected to download and virtualize all your resources. The analog literature faculty at Leeds University had once taken up a labyrinthine space in a red brick terrace at the east edge of the campus. But now it had been invaded by dozens of more modern disciplines. Anything from speculative mech to non-concrete design to hollow pornography had taken bites out of it. I was already aware, how couldn't I be, that no significant novel or short story had been written in decades, but I was shocked to discover that only 5 other students in my year had elected for Ann Lit as their main subject, and one of those still resided in Seoul, and another was a post-centenarian on clicking steel legs. Most of the other students who showed up were dipping into the subject in the hope that it might add something useful to their main discipline. Invariably, they were disappointed. It wasn't just the difficulty of plowing through page after page of non-interactive text. It was linear fiction's sheer lack of options, settings, choices. Why the hell, I remember some kid shouting in a seminar, should I accept all the miserable shit that this Hardy guy rains down his characters? Give me the base program for Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and I'll hack you 15 better endings. I pushed my weak mech to the limit during that first term, as I tried to formulate a tri-D excursus on Tender is the Night, but the whole piece was reconfigured out of existence once the faculty AIs got hold of it. Meanwhile, Rob Home was clearly doing far better. I could hear him singing in the showers along from my room, and admired the way he didn't get involved in all the usual peeves and arguments. The physical sciences had a huge, brand-new facility at the west end of campus called the Clearbright Building. Half church, half pagoda, and maybe half spaceship in the fizzing, shifting, headachy way of modern architecture. There was no real way of telling how much of it was actually made of brick, concrete, and glass, and how much consisted of virtual artifacts and energy fields. You could get seriously lost just staring at it. My first year went by, and I fought hard against crawling home, and had a few unromantic flings, and made vegetable bolognese my signature dish, and somehow managed to get version 4.04 of my second-term excursus on Howard's End accepted. Rob and I didn't become close, but I liked his singing, and the cinnamon scent he left hanging in the steam of the showers, and it was good to know that someone else was